If we've heard Bryce in interviews, and he's been successful in the UFC, he's done interviews and things like that. What on planet Earth makes him think that he can do a successful podcast and maybe have a few 100,000 followers in the future and stuff like that? This is not a guy that's a huge social media magnet, but why is he trying it? Because he's heard that if you can get to a couple 100,000 followers, you get a five, six, $7,000 check every month from Instagram. If you can be on YouTube, you get another check there, and you're supplementing your income because he's not making enough in his fights.
And he
So he
lives
made,
modestly too. He lives
yeah,
very
and
modestly.
but he made a critical mistake in opening his mouth before letting people know that he was like Strickland did a good job of letting people know he was going to be controversial and capable of saying anything before he actually said a few things that kind of crossed the line. And that's kind of what people tried to cancel him as well, but he survived. Bryce doesn't have the pedigree on YouTube or Instagram or wherever there to survive this in all likelihood. I mean, I hope he does. But he opened his mouth, no savvy, no preparation for being an Instagram, probably no inclination to do it, or else he would have had his Instagram developing from the very start, like some of these guys.
Yeah.
But he probably needs the money, and he thought that this was a good idea. I would say that that's the essential thing that's at the core of this. Whatever his thoughts are, you don't know what your neighbors think or anything like that. There are people with wacky thoughts, and also people that say stupid shit all the time in our country, but not on social media, right? So yeah, I think and I like Bryce. I think he's a good fighter. I like Raleigh Delgado and
Yeah,
Matt
yeah, I do
Hamilton, the
too.
guys that have been
Rolly,
around
yeah.
him too. Those guys all fought for me. They were all good soldiers and good and not only good fighters, but turned into lifelong martial artists. So it'd be a shame to see them canceled or anything like that. Um, but yeah, this was a bad idea. This was a bad idea from the beginning, and I think that the reason for it was economics again because the UFC fighters at a certain level don't make crap.
Yeah, and I also think because he seemed to be getting more extreme in his viewpoints than when he first came in the UFC. You know, he kind of said, "I'm a poor kid from Arkansas. People don't think we're worth anything." You know, that was kind of his attitude at that time. I remember him saying that after one of his fights, but then he came in kind of like with